right, everyone.
Hey.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, good day.
Good day.
How are you today? How are you?
I am good. I'm feeling extra tall right now.
I know, right? Today is Wednesday, January 29th, 2020. I'm Dominion.
And I am tall. Shit. I am epic.
And welcome to, what is this
BG
called? The BGKH Show with Dominion and Epic exclusively on Vox Power 373. I'm so glad you niggers could join us.
You know,
I
have several.
I am going to run that into the ground.
But you know,
not just for tonight.
I have several issues
but
with
for
that
a while.
because even with this, I just have several issues with that. I have several issues with it.
You don't like niggas saying niggas?
Well, it's not even that. Like, I honestly, listening to the recording, that's not what I heard. Like, I literally heard her
say niggas?
No, I heard her say niggers. Like, I heard her say, I'm sorry, when I say that's not what I heard, meaning everybody's like, oh, she said niggers. And I'm like, that's not what she said. She did say niggers. Now, the problem that I have is she said she was talking about the Knicks. She said she was thinking about the Knicks and the Lakers. But the conversation was about Kobe and the Lakers. Did the Knicks actually, were they a part of that conversation? Because I don't remember that part that much of the conversation. So while I literally did hear her say Nakers, her thought process, I got it when she said Nakers.
It's always just interesting to me, that white people are like, oh, it was just a slip of the tongue. But I never accidentally, in conversation, say cracker.
Unless I'm talking about some crackers and soup or something.
All right, I'll just accidentally,
I'll
no
say
offense
saltine
to Jews,
before anything else.
But, I don't accidentally slip kike into, I don't accidentally,
Yeah.
they'll just accidentally fall.
Yeah.
I don't accidentally say wetbacks when I'm that's not how I think.
Right.
But I'm just proving a point.
These
that people of
slurs
color
do not
don't necessarily just let these other slurs just casually fall into their conversation unless you have Tourette's or something.
And they are the furthest things from my mind, like on an everyday. Like I just can't even. But
Nakers is just funny to me because it's just the word. And so, like, are we going to go from Naker to Nakers?
Well,
my Nakes?
Come on, my Nakes! My Nakes!
Nigga, please.
My Nakes!
I would get a t-shirt that said, Nigga, please.
Nigga, please. Nigga, please. Nigga.
So, how was your week?
My week was pretty good. So far, it's been lots of work stuff to do.
It's been a weeky week?
Yeah, it's been a weeky week. Lots of work stuff to do, and it feels like you have this long list of stuff that you have to do, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna knock this out. At the end of the day, you realize you're like, bitch, I ain't knocked out but like 5 things off this list. Like, what the So it's been one of those type of weeks. And then somebody posted on Facebook like, February has lasted for like 4 months, and I was like, "That's what
you mean January?"
It feels like. Well, I'm sorry, January. Yeah. It felt like it's lasted for 4 months. Like, when is February coming? And I was like, "You're right. It has."
That was what they were saying. So my new fucking podcast, and I'm not here to pump other people on our show, but bitch, you have got to listen to The Read.
So listen. So our brother Mac was talking about that.
I drove to work this morning, and I am fucking cackling.
So yeah,
the whole
it's on
time.
my list.
Like, I'm literally sitting at my desk like this. These people are fools.
Yeah.
And her name is Krystal. I think it's Krystal. The way that she laughs, that cackle, it just tickles me the way that she laughs. It's Kid Fury and Krystal, and their show is called The Read. It is the funniest thing I have heard in a long time. So there's that. But were you finished?
Yeah, I'm finished. Yeah.
Speaking of not getting shit done. So, each day I come to work and I say, I'm going to accomplish these 1, 2, 3, 4 goals. And, rarely do I get all the way to 4. But, I was like, all right, we can at least get started on 1. So I'm getting started on 1, and I was like, I'm just going to run to the restroom real quick. And on my way back from the restroom, this woman comes up to me. And she's like, I'm not going to make fun. She was speaking French. I don't speak no French. I can get the gist of what you're saying if you speak Spanish to me slowly.
Right.
But she says je m'appelle français, and I understood that part, and I understood that she was speaking French. So I pull out my app, Google Translate.
Oh yeah.
And it wasn't really working right because I was trying to do the side by side conversation, but she didn't. That side by side wasn't working because I'm not sure if she had vision trouble or she wasn't the best reader or whatever. So it was like, all right. So what I did was then do like you can do a thing where you can say whatever it is you want to say. You can say or type, and it'll translate into the language of your choice.
Right.
And then they can read it, or you can hit the microphone button and it'll say it.
Yeah.
So not only was there a language barrier, but there was a technology barrier. Because she thought there was a bitch on the phone. So, like, every time I would be like, so, what can I do for you, ma'am? And the bitch on the phone would be like, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, that's not how this works.
Slow down, baby.
This is a translation matrix. So, first of all, you got to wait for me to hit record. So it take all that shit you say and then translate it into English. But they're from She was from Cameroon, so it was.
So their French is actually it's French, but it's a combination of stuff.
It was a lot going on there. Yeah. So what I came to understand was that she was trying to get in touch with her daughter for reasons that I still didn't understand at first. So we went down to the customer service desk. And the customer service desk woman, listen, she was polite but efficient. Because I'm sure she get all kinds of people that do all kinds of shit that want to use the Redacted Airlines phone and everything. It's like, she can get like 2 minutes on the phone. Because whatever. So she called her daughter, and then, they on the phone, not understand. So what we came to understand was, they were on so she had her ticket and everything. So what we came to understand was so first of all, not her woman. I got her that her name was Micheline. There was another woman named Antoinette there too. We'll get to Antoinette in a second. So we came to understand that Micheline and Antoinette were on a flight leaving to Brussels, which was then they were going to go from Brussels to Cameroon.
Okay.
That flight Cameroon left at 5 o'clock yesterday evening. They had some sort of a mechanical issue mid-flight, so they came back to the airport. Took them like 3-4 hours to fix the flight, by which time people who weren't, where Brussels wasn't their in-flight, had overstayed their visa. So their visa was like, you could only be in, where's Brussels? Belgium? You can't just stay. You can be there for the time it takes for you to transit to
right, but if
whatever.
You're in the airport, you should be able. You should be covered.
I ain't understand.
But I didn't realize
the particulars.
But anyway,
but the bottom line was that they, instead of having all of these passengers for Redacted Airlines stuck in a foreign ass country, they rebooked them on flights that were within the confines of their visas or whatever it was that they needed to have so that they could eventually get to wherever they're going, including a number of people from Cameroon. Now, they were able to rebook Micheline and Antoinette on a flight for $5.50 today, but that was just part of the routine process. They book you on another flight or whatever, but they ain't understand none of that other part, which was, do you need a hotel voucher, or are you cool with staying here in the airport? And here is a voucher for food. Now, let's be clear. They got back to the airport at 7 p.m. They had been in the airport since like 3 o'clock. The flight left at 5 or 5:50. It gets back at 7:30 or whatever. So they'd been in transit since at least 3 p.m. They'd literally been in the airport for the final time since 7 p.m. and their flight doesn't leave until whatever, with whatever Cameroonian money or whatever. And these are elderly women, not like tiny little elderly women, robust black women, but they were still at least in their late 60s or early 70s. And so they didn't have no food. They didn't understand that they could have gotten a hotel room for the night. And even if they had, what were they going to do? Because ain't nobody at the hotel going to be like, it's 8 o'clock, time for you to get up and bring your ass back to the airport or whatever. So they didn't understand any of that. So they just sat there all fucking night. And I just encountered these women as I'm coming back from the fucking bathroom. And so finally we got her son-in-law on the phone. And then I understood where he was coming from, but he was trying to get a little buck with me. And I was like,
listen,
sir,
I'm just here to help.
sir.
Yeah, like.
He was like, are you a customer service manager? I was like, I am not. I manage large architecture and construction projects here at the airport. I'm just trying to help your mother-in-law and Antoinette. He was like, who the fuck is Antoinette? Antoinette was apparently just another woman who was on the same flight.
I'm laughing because, bitch, you know that sounds like you. What the fuck is that? All I'm concerned about is Micheline. I don't even know who the fuck this Antoinette is.
Right. And then, so it's like, all right, so I took charge of it because that's part of our motto at Redacted Airlines, we redact.
Right.
So, and so, because I was looking at it like, that could have been your mother, that could have been my mother, that could have been my father.
Right.
You know, and let's say we all went to China, right? And then they're talking all this shit about what's going on, and you sitting there waiting for a bitch to speak English to come tell you what the fuck is going on, and you just sitting there like,
Bitch, what am I supposed to do? I'm
what the fuck am I supposed to do?
sit right here until I figure
now,
something
we're
out.
young enough where we would have been like, I need someone that speaks English.
Right.
But this was like late in the evening, and they had someone, you know, to bring them in wheelchairs to get them on the plane initially. But all that broke down because of the flight exception with the plane breaking down and all of that. So there wasn't, I'm sure they made some announcements in French, but when they brought you back to the airport, they were just trying to, that was out of cycle.
Right.
Because that plane wasn't supposed to be there at that time. So they probably didn't make all of the announcements in French and English like they needed to. So there were probably a bunch of people wandering around the airport, many of whom had mobility challenges, which I found a little bit rough. You about to say something awful. So you write what awful thing you want to say while I finish this story. So, all right. So I understood why dude was getting a little buck, because when they dropped Micheline and someone else dropped Antoinette off at the airport at 3 p.m. yesterday, and they was tracking it online that, you know, the flight from Brussels, you know, took off, it came back, but then it took off again. So their assumption, which is logical, was that when that flight took off again, they asked us that, you know, Micheline and Antoinette. Yes, it does.
But not in a good way.
No, not at all. They assumed that their relative would have been on the flight. So they had to come all the way from Baltimore to the airport to, you know, handle all of whatever. And so I was like, all right, so we're going to take them out. We're going to do whatever. We're going to get you passes to bring them all through. And they was like, well, we bought food for Micheline. And I was like, bitch, you can't bring a whole fucking meal and want to bring that through security and shit.
Right.
He was like, well, all right, we'll just have her come, because they can't walk very well. So now we had to get them all back through, which is fine. And they were actually pretty nice, and they were really appreciative of me looking through. And I gave them my business card, and I was like, you know, because they apparently take this trip several times. And I was like, so if there's ever anything that goes wrong, just call me.
Okay.
So that listen, I'm not coming back to the airport.
You
I can at least be like, you can at least be like, hey, there was some sort of a flight exception. Can you please call the airport or do whatever to make sure that Micheline is back on this flight or whatever.
And Antoinette.
Well, yes, and Antoinette, because I eventually did talk to her daughter. So we got them finally back on the flight. And then the son-in-law come calling me at like 6:30. He was like, so do you have an update? I was like, bitch, I'm gone. I spent like my whole, talking about not getting no shit done. Right. I spent my whole day
in that middle, yes,
in the middle of all of this stuff, which I did gratefully. Right. And I really did feel good about helping them. But I was like, the flight left at 5:50, but I only work until 5. And normally I'm gone at 4:30. I stayed until 5 until they actually started the boarding process.
You wanted to make sure they got,
spoke to the gate agent and said, here, this is this woman and this woman, and this is what's going on. And then by that time, another elderly dude who also had like a fucked up foot, like a cast on his foot or whatever, And he saw that I was helping him and that they spoke French and everything. So I felt good that I was able to help them out with the situation. But
It's over now.
no,
Micheline's son is going to call you tomorrow.
no. Micheline's breath. Ooh! Like when she first spoke to me, I was sitting there, I was like,
It's like, woof. You're like, woo. Like, woo.
it's like, I don't need a haircut tomorrow.
Like, woo.
I was just like, woo!
It's like, just let it go.
It was
And then,
so
but then you try to do
bad.
this. There are a lot of conversation is here. You're trying to be like, so, and they keep going. You're like, wait.
Jam blah, 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 blah.
And then you get to the point where you're like, so listen.
Right.
Let me make sure I understand this
her
correctly.
breath. And that was more than just I've been in the airport all day. I was
That's
just like,
probably with the food and whatever she's been eating and everything else, and
she's had like some health challenges and some
yeah.
other stuff. So that was because her daughter was like, "Thank you so much for helping," because she got high blood pressure, she got a whole bunch of other stuff going on. And I was like, I can't believe she sat in the airport all this time. And apparently, and this is part of the thing that's why Redacted Airlines is we redact is because I can't have been the first person at 10 o'clock that morning that she approached. But apparently I was the only one who stopped my day to...
I'm making faces.
He's making faces. And I'm trying to remain professional.
I am making faces because it is just...
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
going
Like,
on. Look at the light, though. Look at our faces on the screen.
type-
This
oh my God.
light is... Did
Yeah.
y'all change the bulbs in here or
Come on,
something?
skin. Come on, glow.
Yes, And I ain't even moisturized like, this is just normal all day glow.
I'm trying to get some extra water in my life because I
You
just
and me
earned it.
both.
Yeah.
But anyway, so at 10 o'clock in the morning, apparently I was the first person who really stopped and helped them instead of being like, girl, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and kept going. So, if you see someone, they don't even have to be in the airport, but, you see someone in distress, just
Try to help them out.
try to help.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what in 2020 we need a lot more of people just kind of checking in with people, just kind of and being nice. Like and it's the littlest of things, like saying good morning or even saying hello. And if you see somebody drop something, bend down and offer to pick it up. I mean, just little things like that. Just being courteous, being human again.
Yeah, and air travel is already stressful.
Yeah.
And when you don't speak the language, you're depending on the routine. Because look at, going back to that situation with us. If we had been in China, everything would have been fine because we would have got to the gate. We would have been fine. It would have been like, Redacted Airlines flight back to Reagan or whatever. But when the plane comes back and now they just trying to handle shit and don't nobody know what the fuck is going on, now you are in a stressful situation because everything is out of cycle. And they had taken, at least Micheline, had taken that flight from Dulles to Brussels back to Cameroon apparently several times. So it wasn't that she didn't know how to handle it, but when some shit happened that don't normally happen, she didn't know how to handle it.
Yeah, that would have been a whole different outcome if it was Dominion and Epic, because the conversation would have been. So I can see how this would have started off. The conversation would have been started off like, "See, I have a question. These are things I want to figure out." And so as I started these questions, I'm trying to be nice. Then I can see you coming in and say, "Listen, I work for Redacted Airlines. I need X, Y, and Z things right now, right here." And at that point, I'd have been like,
"Yeah, what he said times two."
Motherfucker.
But also, I just think that we would have been in a better position to advocate for ourselves.
Well,
we are, neither one of us is, biologically older black women, and even if, see the bit of a shade, just
all
a
right,
tiny bit.
it was a bit of shade. Okay,
bit of shade.
Okay, right.
But we would have been able to be like, the chances of us going to any airport in the world that there was someone who spoke enough English to be conversant is better than those two old ladies being in an airport in the United States and finding someone who spoke French. Right. Now, there was someone who was from some African country where they spoke French. So I don't know if he was from Cameroon or whatever, but he was like a senior manager. So when we got them outside and then we got everybody together, including including the daughter, the son-in-law, the two children, the two grandchildren, Micheline and Antoinette, then he was able to help them. But there was not a plethora of people who spoke French who could help them out. Whereas I just feel real confident that if we were in Hong Kong or Sichuan or not Wuhan, because we would be stuck if we was in Wuhan because they didn't shut her down.
Completely. But that's a whole nother
outside of that, there would have been someone who would have spoken enough English to being able to help us. So.
All right, let's move on.
Let's move on. Oh, but the last thing I'm going to say is that
and Antoinette got to their final destination. That's all.
After 20 years of helping bitches that don't deserve my help, and you understand that. You understand that because of what you do.
I need you all to understand that I was in tears when I saw this. I was like, oh, my God.
You spend your whole career helping bitches who are ungrateful and undeserving of that help. Normally, they're undeserving of it because, like, all right, so when I worked for ICE, I helped people who didn't give a shit. TSA, I worked for people who were just too lazy to do the whole job that we had at TSA. We had because the government people that were there just decided to not do some of the shit they were supposed to do. So that was good for me from a contract. But like, really?
Yeah.
I'm just not gonna do this shit. So y'all might as well just pay some other bitches to come in and do it. So, and then even at the Air Force, which I kind of enjoyed, these motherfuckers were engineers. Everybody that we worked with was a degreed engineer with at least a bachelor's degree or a master's degree in engineering, and on top of that, a commission in the military. And their asses were still incompetent. Couldn't read, didn't pay attention. These hoes sent the worst emails and just didn't have anything, whatever. So it really felt good to be able to affect people and help them out.
Speaking of the worst emails, I've spoken about my job and about what I do, and I review deliverables for people in my particular program who are federal government employees. They're GS 11 through 13s. And these deliverables are basically papers because this is a leadership program, so there are things that we want them to do. Listen, and I will laugh and joke with people about everything and any and everything. And I know sometimes when I text a message.
Justin. He's like, what the fuck is redacted airlines? It's like
that's all right. Woo, woo, woo.
Woo, woo, woo. Woo, woo. We know your mouth is still, you still right. Got the Novocaine and all that. It's fucked your whole head up. We got you.
But, so anyway, listen, text messaging I'm horrible with because half the time my fingers are moving too fast and shit is just wrong. When I go to email stuff sometimes, again, I'm typing too fast. But again, if I'm turning in a paper, that's always something different. There's several different things you can actually use. But the stuff that comes out, well, minus the Onyx National Council stuff that I had to explain. Mm-hmm. But there's some things that I just feel you didn't give a shit about it, and you right. You tried to just push it in and not do anything, and you wanted me to not see it. Right. And so I'm always sitting there like wearing my academic hat, and I'm kind of looking at shit like sentence, noun, verb, pressure. Let me just go ahead and just send it back to you. I just send
it back to you.
Like, and that's literally what I would do.
This is not, graduate school quality work.
But so it's then at that point of choosing your battle. Mm. And so today I was very much of like...
Well, listen, I want to battle. And listen, in the back of my mind, my evil parts of this like, finish him.
But see, that's the sad part. So I'm going to run into some of that next week when we get to this graduation because we've had such a backlog. And so now that I'm sending people stuff back to revise, well, I didn't hear anything all this other time. Listen, but I have a job. You've heard, and you will finish. You just won't get anything today.
Right.
Very simple.
Right.
But it's going to be an argument. But anyway, I'm sorry.
All right. So,
a couple of things.
What's the update on Pretzelgate?
There was listen, Pretzelgate, Dan. I had no response from you. The verdict was out, so you were guilty. I'm just letting you know that this week,
Listen,
we've
this
heard
was
nothing.
your appeal.
We've heard nothing.
If there's no appeal, then if there's no appeal, you know the deal. Bam.
Just so that we're clear.
Black cow.
Anyway, I found a story on Joe Biden and Michelle Obama. So it was interesting because in my mind, I kind of got a little bit nostalgic, but Joe Biden actually, as the Democratic presidential contender at this particular point, he said he would love to have Michelle Obama to be vice president. The comment came after Joe Biden was asked if he would consider. The comment came after he was asked if he would consider nominating former President Barack Obama to the Supreme Court, and he said, "Yeah, I would, but I don't think he'd do it. He'd be a great Supreme Court justice," which is what Biden said. And then the questioner followed up with the question, which Obama? So Biden responded, "They're both incredibly qualified people. They're such decent, honorable people." And they were saying that the pairing it would be a first in American politics. There's never been a presidential ticket that included a former first lady and a VP slot. Now, this also isn't the first time that Biden has mentioned Michelle as a VP. But all I have to say is, Michelle, don't do it, girl.
Don't do it, girl.
You in danger, girl. Don't do it. But that's just my own thing. In theory, I would love to see them together. In theory.
I would not.
But
together.
I'd like to see them together, but I would like to see them together possibly on the flip side. Mm-hmm. Howsoever, I'm just still feeling the Obama love. But anyway.
One, we do not reserve Michelle Obama. We don't. This country, I want her to continue to wear banging ass outfits, do the shit that she wants to do, and be a representative for black excellence.
Okay.
Two, if she wants to do it, she could run as for president. She probably shouldn't because she doesn't have any actual legislative thing. But in terms of popularity,
she could.
She could.
Yes.
So why would you be vice president for somebody that you could beat? So there's that. I really think that's it. That's 1 and 2. We as a country do not deserve her. 2, she could, if she wants to do this, do it on her own terms. She don't need to be nobody's vice president.
That's true.
If she was going to do it, I think she should follow the path that her husband took. They live in Illinois. She could run for Illinois State Senate.
They're here.
They have a house here, but they got a house in Illinois too.
But
DC don't have nothing to do. What's she gonna do? Be the new Eleanor Holmes Norton?
But all I'm saying, what's her face hasn't graduated yet.
The youngest one.
Yeah, she's about to graduate.
Yeah, but okay, yeah. So once she finished, she can go back and be. Or she could do exactly what Hillary Clinton did: was buy a house in fucking New York, which neither of the Clintons lived in New York at that time. They bought that house in New York just long enough for her to be qualified. Then she could run for Senate or whatever, and then build that resume
again.
But yeah, I think this benefits Joe Biden way more. It's a glow up for Joe Biden, but not necessarily a glow down, but it's an unnecessary mountain of bullshit for Michelle Obama with, I think, minimal upside because he's the vice president.
Well,
he ain't necessarily do a whole lot as vice president except say stupid shit all over the country.
So that is true.
I mean, he did do something. I'm being disingenuous, but it's again, not even. It's just not.
As VP, she would have the chance to redefine that.
She could, just like she redefined the role of First Lady.
Absolutely.
So I mean, yes, if she wants to do it, 100% for her.
Yeah.
But I would, if she was going to do it, and she was going to be somebody's VP.
I probably could have seen her.
I'd much rather see her with Elizabeth Warren because I'm all in on Team Warren.
The verdict is still out for me. I think I'm
definitely not Buttigieg. Are you Team Buttigieg?
Not at all.
Not even.
Not at all. And Bernie, for a moment. See, that's the thing. Bernie, for a moment, had me for just a hot second. Then I was kind of like, something about you is not sitting right with me.
I appreciate some of his ideas, but I don't like him. I don't like none of his people.
But Elizabeth, I haven't quite. I haven't quite latched on to her because I haven't felt 100% about all of her ideas. And I also have to understand and also remember that there's no presidential candidate that I was 100% all in on all of their ideas.
That's true.
There was none. And so for me, I'm just trying to figure out the lesser of all the evils for me to say, okay, great. Because none of them are
right now. I don't even feel 100%. That's the thing. What I liked about Obama, listen,
he checked off a majority of the list for me.
How he was actual president versus my feelings about him as a candidate. When Obama was running the first time, I was like, you know what, this is the first time I was, what was that, 2008? So I was what, 30, we were what, 37? That was the first time in my voting life that I felt like I was making a completely positive decision. Like I didn't have any negatives about Barack Obama because I had taken the time to go through his platforms that he had online. And I was like, this nigger got...
And there we are.
Here we are. This nigger got a plan for everything, which I appreciate. Yeah. That he has thought about a lot of these things. And that's what I like about Elizabeth Warren. She got a little bit of negative, but that, I mean, not the Pocahontas stuff, but the whole... She claimed she was Native American because that's what her family told her, but like a lot of white people do. So she isn't Krystal, but other than that, I can't really think of a whole lot negative about her. I mean, we know it was bullshit. You tried to get in the car. Listen, you tried it. You tried it.
She did. That would be just like Betsy DeVos saying, I live a very modest life. Oh, sit down!
But she said it. She's apologized for it, and let's move on. So that's why I'm in for Warren.
Right.
But if Michelle Obama was going to do it, I would rather her be two women at the top of the ticket. Warren and Obama as the vice president, because I think that would be a great ticket. I really do.
I think a great ticket for me, if it was two women and we are including Michelle Obama, I really would have liked to have seen Hillary and Michelle together. I think that would have been a great ticket.
It would have, but
either one of them.
Hillary need to sit all the way down.
Well,
and stay
she has a lot of shit going on with her, unfortunately. So
because Hillary has risen to running several times, and both times she lost.
Yes, she did.
And both times when they did the analysis, part of it was because they didn't listen to nobody. We didn't really give a shit the first time because she lost in the primary to Barack Obama, and we ended up getting what we wanted.
Right.
But we didn't pay attention, and she and Bill didn't pay attention, and they repeated all of the same mistakes against Donald Trump, and we saw what the fuck happened then. So thank you for your service. Thank you for flying the most miles of any Secretary of State ever. Thank you for getting, the 9/11 bill passed and all of that. But rest on that. Sit all the way down and keep it sad.
You mentioned the name Krystal, and I'm going to go into this next one.
Yes.
Netflix has released
as soon as I saw this.
Listen, I'm going home tonight to figure out if I can write. So,
it's on Netflix. So it's 1,000. It's like 5 shows called The Queen on Netflix, but this one will be the first one.
So so this one for all the gays. Listen, this is the
gayest of the gays.
Right. This is from thedailydot.com. It says a somewhat lost but never forgotten pivotal piece of historical drag queen media has been restored and made available on Netflix. The Queen is a 1968 documentary about the previous year's Miss All-America Camp Beauty Pageant, a competition for drag queens. The film was groundbreaking for its honest depiction of drag queens in the moments between the pageantry. Even in the far less accepting America of the late 60s, it received some positive reviews from outlets like the New York Times after premiering at the Cannes Film Festival. Cannes Film Festival. So here's why this is famous, if you did not know. The Queen is actually most known for as the epic reading session by the one and only Krystal Labeja. Krystal Labeja is the woman who is one of the reasons why the House of, first of all, the ballroom scene has come about, and one of the reasons why one of the most legendary houses, the House of Labeja, even exists. Yes. If any of you have seen Paris is Burning, you've seen Pepper Labeja, who was given the
runner-up.
Pepper.
Oh, in the movie it says that she was the runner-up that won
that is correct.
the pageant.
Pepper
took over the house.
Pepper took over the house from her.
Inherited, took over and
that's what it said. So I don't know if that was her daughter or whatever, but she took over the house and inherited the house.
She did. I thought I think
it was her.
In Paris is Burning, she said, Krystal was the founder of the House of Labeja, and I am the current mother.
So again, that right there is a lot of statement because there's some stuff in between it that we don't necessarily get, but I'll try to figure that out when I get to it. But anyway, so Pepper is the one that kind of helped bring everything towards where it is now. Right. But the thing about Krystal was that Krystal was just like any other
vicious queen, honey,
of the now and ever and before, because when this woman got on stage and found out that she actually did not win the pageant, she then walked off the stage in the middle of the pageant and said she would never compete in another pageant ever again. This was the 60s because, again, at that particular point in time, people of color were not only were they, it was rare for them to win pageants, but then also for them to be on stage. And Krystal happened to be a winner of a Miss Manhattan pageant, I think it was.
Right.
And so she was up there voicing her opinion, and she walked off the stage and she read everybody down loudly from the moment she walked off the stage to the moment she walked out the door. It was everything. So I encourage you, if you want to know a little bit more of history, tune in to Netflix the story about the Queen, which is from 1968 about Krystal Labeja. So that's what I'm just going to put out there. It's available and it's there. Speaking of drag queens as well, season 12 has been released, as the release date for Drag Race for season 12 has also come up, which is going to be February the 28th. And I've got to see some of the new queens. Have you had a chance to see any of the new queens?
I saw it, but I'm just slowly falling out of love with Drag Race. And I've said this before, is that it's becoming everything that it was originally making fun of. Like, it was originally like making fun of shows like America's Next Top Model and and Project Runway, and I thought that was more than enough. That these
Vaughn. Vaughn is quoting some of the lyrics like, "She looks terrible. She looks bad. Tell Harlow to get back to Philadelphia. She's one of the worst."
Right.
I can't. And you have to see the movie.
So,
but
I'm just. But now with all of these ridiculous challenges and all of this other stuff, and it's just all of that seems unnecessary because I was entranced in the first season by these drag queens coming in. You could see them out of drag. The interpersonal, go back to Party City was enough. Enough dramatic tension for me.
Was everything.
That was enough dramatic tension. You don't need to do all of these ridiculous challenges.
What's up, her?
And all of this other stuff that, and then throw in all, these twists and all of this. And I was like, you've become the very thing that you were like mockingly showing love to, and so I'm over it, and I'm still not over Shangela losing.
Well, we
still not over.
It's all right. It's all right. It's okay. It's okay. It's all right.
Okay.
All right. But anyway, I that's coming out on February 28th. Look for that on VH1. I had a chance this weekend to look at A Fall from Grace.
Oh, I heard it was terrible. Was it terrible or terrible?
It was very Tyler Perry. Take it for what you want. Although it was a little bit different, but it was still very Tyler Perry.
Okay.
Very Tyler Perry.
Now, everybody on Netflix?
It's on Netflix. And everybody talked about these wigs and his hair and all that. And I was like, listen, definitely if it's on Netflix, it's on somebody else's channel, you haven't watched it yet, watch it on there. Don't listen. But it ain't all. It's whatever.
All right, so before we talk about this other foolishness, everybody knows that Kobe Bryant died in a plane crash. Now, I think helicopter crash. What annoys me is that everybody is like, Kobe Bryant died and a bunch of other people.
Right.
I feel like we should say all of their names.
There were 9 people.
So I couldn't find. This is the testimony to it that I couldn't find one article that succinctly said here are all the people that died. So I got to scroll through this article. Kobe Bryant and Gianna Bryant, his 13-year-old daughter. John Kerry and Alyssa Altobelli. John Altobelli, who had been the head basketball coach at East Orange Coast College for more than 2 decades, was on the helicopter. Kerry was his wife and one of his daughters, Alyssa. Now, they have 2 other daughters. So in this one crash, those other 2 daughters lost both of their parents and one of their sisters. So Christina Mauser, who was the girls' basketball coach for, I guess, at the Harbor. She was assistant basketball coach at the Harbor Day School, which I believe is where Gianna Bryant went. She survived by her husband and maybe some kids.
3 kids.
Yeah, and 3 kids. Mm-hmm. Arya Zobayan, who was the pilot on the helicopter. He had been a licensed commercial pilot for more than a decade. He was also certified to fly under instrument flight rules, which permitted him to fly in poor weather conditions. But they were saying that the fog swept in so fast. Like, you ever been driving in the fog? That's bad enough. Imagine flying in the fog and you are literally confronted with a wall of solid white, so you don't know what the fuck is in front of you. So before anybody says some shit, well, he should have done a better job. I mean, that's a lot to ask. Sarah and Peyton Chester. Sarah Chester and her daughter Peyton were aboard the helicopter, according to the thing. So that was it. So that's all of the people. But I just think it's important that, we talk about all of the people that died, because, it was more than just Kobe who died. And the pain of the loss is compounded by people not even saying the names of your fucking relatives. That your tragedy, which is it's a tragedy, but I'm just going to keep it cute. If your last name isn't Bryant, then your tragedy ain't the same as an Altobelli who actually, or Zabayan, who actually lost a fucking family member. So let's keep it in perspective. Yeah. And they can't even grieve because you can't even hear the name Altobelli, because it's always Kobe Bryant, Gianna Bryant, and then a bunch of other bitches on the plane too. So, I think it's important that we say their names.
The one thing that I did also hear is
bitches, and I'm sorry, they're not bitches. I apologize.
Well, the one thing I did also hear is that the big game that they were scheduled to have, I think this was with Kobe's foundation, I think it was.
I didn't,
I'm not sure which foundation.
Honestly, I'm not into sports ball, so I didn't really read that deep.
But they said that they're still going to have it, and that those funds are going to be distributed amongst all the families. Yes, so, I mean, big up to that. And, so hopefully all of the family members will have, I wish them comfort at this particular time. That's all I can do. And hope
I also want to say, to people, so there was a Washington Post reporter who immediately in the aftermath of this tweeted a story about the Kobe Bryant.
Listen, let's not, we will not. We will not give that any energy.
The only energy that I want to give to say is that, people can grow from that. And by all accounts, he grown from that incident. And that is not a forgiving of what happened.
But I still have several questions about that. That's I'm
right.
I'm
anyway. So now, one of the world's most suspect niggers, Dr. Umar Johnson states that the pilot was an expert pilot, which is why I said expert pilot don't do shit when you are poor weather conditions mean when it's raining but you can still see. But if you are confronted with a heavy fog that had prevented police helicopters from flying, meaning that they were already grounded, but if you're in the air, bitch, you at least got to get back to the ground. You can't just hover. where the fuck you are. So you at least got to get back to the ground. So expert pilot will know. If you are confronted with a solid wall of fog, I mean, you do the best you can.
Right.
So expert pilot, fuck him. It says that Kobe was in a legal battle with a huge pharmaceutical company over the name Black Mamba. First of all, the company is like a small ass company in Georgia. And so this company in Georgia engineered a fog bank, got a pilot to purposely kill himself and 7 other people or 6 other people so that Kobe Bryant could be taken out so they could freely use the name Black Mamba. This is all of the things that you have to believe in order to believe that there's a conspiracy that resulted in the assassination of Kobe Bryant.
But the thing is, he has also stated that it was the Illuminati, a part of the Illuminati that.
Listen.
So that is
Johnson
what
has a full beard but no mustache.
That is what.
Therefore, everything that he says is suspect. That is evidence of a life of poor decision making.
I can't. What's up, Billy? I can't.
Hey, Billy.
I cannot.
Am I wrong though?
No, but you're not. Billy Wynn.
Billy Malloy.
I'm sorry. Billy Wynn that's a performer.
Yeah.
But Billy Malloy has a show that he has been having some conversation with us about showing up on the show. So we're gonna work that out, Bill. We gotta work that out. We're gonna work it out. We're gonna make it happen.
Oh, we still got to get to the question of the night. All right, so
yes.
the Grammy ratings were low. Okay, fine.
But listen, Miss Lizzo, if y'all didn't see her, she slayed the shit out of it. Listen,
so people was like, I'm showing too much body, bitch. I'm gonna have all of my body covered, but I'm still gonna let y'all.
She came out in a white Versace slip gown with a shawl and a matching purse. Mm-hmm. The dress was sleeveless, a sexy high leg slit. She wore her hair down, accessorized with a diamond necklace and earrings. Let me talk about the dress. Hand-embroidered Swarovski crystals on the red carpet. Her dress took 2 months to make and was still being hand-beaded in Italy on Wednesday, which was 2 days before?
That's Sunday.
Sorry, that's
Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So 4 days.
So 4 days beforehand. And that her dress also paid homage to pop icons Diana Ross and Cher. And I remember this.
I can see particularly Diana Ross.
Right. And then also Diana Ross had that white silk, it was like a shell dress on. She had this wrap. Yeah. So I remember that. So good for her. She also won 3 awards that night. Best Pop Solo Performance for Truth Hurts, Best Traditional R&B Performance for Jerome, and Best Urban Contemporary Album for 'Cause I Love You Deluxe.
Yes.
So.
All right. So our question of the day. If you found out that your significant other was still having sexy talk with a person they previously screwed when they were still a teenager, and at the time, the person that they were chatting with was married to a woman, how would you feel?
And you can switch that up as well, interchange that.
How would you feel?
So for me, like I said before, I'm more so concerned with how my partner would be feeling.
Yeah.
Because if we're in this area, this gray area of you feel like they feel like there's a dependency, like there's something that they need to, if there's some sort of daddy complex or mommy complex or something, it's like something that I feel like they're trying to hold on to.
Yeah.
I would try to, I want to break them out of that because I feel like there's something unresolved from the relationship and I want to figure out what that is. I want to see how I can help them. Mm-hmm. Because I think that's one of the reasons why they're going back. I think that they can still be friends, but I just there's
also some context here is that the story that this came from this is that the two people, the one who used to be the teenager and the other partner, are in an open relationship.
Yes.
So it's not the fact that he's having sexy talk or maybe even fucking this other dude. It's that the relationship initiated when he was 15 years old. The other caveat is that they were in the UK,
right,
where the age of majority is 16. So this boy was just under the age of majority there. Right. So there's those caveats. Yeah. What else do you think about?
So I mean, I think that's my only concern, and I also feel like if there's something that I can see that there is affecting my partner, I want to figure out what that is. Like I want to figure out what's going on. If you're saying you're having a hard time because of some things that happened, then let's try to figure that out.
Yes.
Do I care if we are in an open relationship that they're having a conversation with somebody? No, I really don't. As long as our rules and what we've talked about and what we've established, you let me know and you abide by, I'm good with that.
Right.
But that's me. What about you?
All right, so a couple of things. First of all, if we're in a sexually open relationship, unless he has come to me, unless I knew that the relationship was abusive or something, I don't know that I would have anything to do about it because he's not a child anymore.
Right.
Or he's not a teenager anymore. Second of all, this shows the arbitrary nature of these kind of rules because a person who is 16 dating a person in this country who is 18 dating a 16-year-old in this country will be looked down upon. But if they took their relationship and moved to London, wouldn't nobody bat an eye.
Right.
So it tells you that these rules are somewhat arbitrary.
Okay, so that's one part.
The fact that he was 15 or 16 at the time, that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean as much as some people would want it to do because to me, 15 and 16 is a somewhat arbitrary dividing line. Now, let's be clear.
I will
if
also
this was
say
like
that-
an 11 or a 12-year-old, maybe. Or if, let's be clear, if this 15-year-old was a little slow and maybe not even slow, like mentally challenged, but if he just wasn't the brightest
Just
kind of person,
very
and just like
naive.
naive and gullible, then yeah, but I'm less fucked up about that as long as there was no evidence that. Now he was fucking around. The older person was fucking around on his wife, but I
Yes.
mean that's their
That's a
fight.
whole. That has nothing to do with what's going on right here with me that I'm
Right.
concerned with, which
As
is the person
long
I'm in
as
this
my
relationship
partner,
with.
when he was 15 years old, and this man was, I don't know, 30, let's just say.
Yeah.
Yes, you can say that that's a weird, long, fucked up age difference, and maybe it is. But again, if that person was 15 years and 6 months, 6 months, all of a sudden, everything would have been cool in terms of age majority. So that tells you that whole dividing line is arbitrary and bullshit because that same dividing line wouldn't even exist in this country. He still could have been charged with statutory rape if they had been dating. If this 30-year-old had been dating this 16-year-old and they came to Fort Lauderdale and decided to go hang out or whatever, that dude could still be charged with statutory rape in this country, even though their relationship is perfectly legal in the UK, which is one of our main partners.
So that part.
Yes.
That part is one answer. What about the rest of it, as far as the feelings about this? Like, how would you feel about it?
If you have an open relationship, then you have to be fine with whoever the fuck it is that they're dealing with, even if it's somebody from their past, unless they have a rule specifically about you can only fuck with new nakers.
We just listen.
Unless they have a rule that says you can only deal with new people and you can't bring back old people from the past, then again, I don't see that you could have complex feelings. I'm not denying your need to have complex feelings, but if you are going to have this open relationship, you have to accept all of the possible outcomes.
That is correct.
Of that, which means that someone from their past might come back. The fact that happened when that person was young or whatever.
Shout out to my stalker. I think he was on here. I forgot to say hello. Hey, stalker.
Hey, stalker, we know who you are.
Yeah, we know who you are.
Girl, we all know who you are.
I'm just saying. But anyway.
But yeah, so that's sort of my feelings on it, is that, you know, as long as they agree that they have an open relationship, there was no prohibitions on pre-existing dates from the past coming back, and as long as when the relationship was going on, it wasn't abusive, then you just say, listen, I'm here for you if you want to talk about it. If it brings up complex feelings for you now, or if in hindsight you realize that it was an inappropriate relationship and, so I'm here to listen to whatever it is you have to say with it. But just in general.
Yeah. Well, shout out to our Onyx brother, Golden Eagle, for presenting and having that conversation with us about this topic earlier. So thank you for bringing that up, and we were able to kind of bring that over to you guys. We ran a little bit out of time to talk about it, so we had this stuff here, but we kind of went
there was so much. It was with Micheline and Antoinette.
Yeah, listen, Micheline. I hope Micheline made it home. I hope she's all right.
I haven't heard anything different, so I'm assuming that flight landed.
Her son's gonna call you.
Her son hasn't called me, so I'm assuming the flight landed in Brussels like it was supposed to.
Okay,
whatever,
so he's gonna call.
Right.
But anyway, so listen, the BGKH show streams live on Wednesdays on VoxWave.com. Oh, hey, Stalker. From 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern and 5 to 6 p.m. Pacific. Episodes are available on YouTube every Friday. Search for Vox Power 373 and look for the BGKH show with Dominion and Epic. Currently, we are able to host a live studio audience. We have space. And if you can't, you can come and actually, if you can't come into the audience, well, kind of.
If you can't be in the audience.
Yeah, because I was thinking that's a whole different.
Yes.
I mean, you could, but anyway,
right.
Anyway,
keep it moving.
Anyway,
If you can't make it,
and you want to give us a call, please feel free to do so. And the number is 240-719-2560. One more again,
240-719-2560.
And we will be happy to chat with you on air.
We will.
So if you are trying to get in touch with me, you can reach me on Twitter at EpicOnyx1. You can also reach me on Instagram at IamEpicOnyx. And you can also reach me on Facebook if you look for Epic Onyx. And Dominion, how can they reach you?
You can reach me on Twitter and Instagram at DomOnyx, Facebook.com/DomOnyx, and www.theyneveshould've-gave-you-niggers-money.com.
Sign BBBB.
Yeah, right. No, www.domonyx.com. And also, we would love to answer more of your questions. So feel free to message us on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram if you have specific questions that you would like us to answer.
But I love you, Stalker. I love you. I do.
He does. All right. So thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you next week, which is the start of Black History Month. So we're going to have some real
black,
some real Nakerish shit.
Oh, yeah. Blackity black.
Blackity black.
Blackity black.
All right. Thank y'all for coming out. God bless you, and goodbye. Mwah.